Hey, so the last video was another video of me complaining and being depressing because it's all I'm good at. And as I don't like to end on those videos, I'll talk about something else because I was thinking about talking about conventions. Now, this is a fucking weird video that people be like, how the fuck are you going to talk about conventions? And I don't know. I mean, my socially awkward ass could probably talk about how weird it'd be to go to conventions, but there's a lot of things about conventions I always found a bit weird. But so the idea of a convention, if anyone's never been to a convention, it's basically just a place where a bunch of people meet up based around whatever the fuck it's about, like anime, video games, furries, bronies, whatever. There's a bunch of different things, and I mean, there's stuff for like what, like Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars. Like there's conventions for everything, but the most notable ones are like Comic Cons and what's the anime one? Konemi? I don't know. It's some Kobeni. I don't fucking remember what it's called. There's like all these like there's a lot of anime ones. There's a lot of furry ones, and I'm not. I feel like if there's any convention that I would go to if I wasn't a socially awkward person, it probably may. Here's the thing. So I don't really want to ever go to a convention, and one of the reasons might solely because of just internet horror stories of weird people at conventions and the smell of conventions and all that kind of shit. And I feel like here's the thing. If I were to go to a convention, it would either be the Comic-Con type stuff, anime related and video games, right? I wouldn't like I'm not a furry nor am I a brony, so I probably wouldn't go to those conventions. I'm not into Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars, so I probably wouldn't go to those conventions. I probably wouldn't go to conventions based around anything specific other than the generic ones of, like I said, comic books, video games, and anime. That'd probably be about it. But I don't know. Like, I've heard so many horror stories about just the people there, and some conventions have problems that happen. Some conventions are just kind of boring. And video game ones would just be boring as shit because, like, all you do is you'd go to a place just to hear announcements about games that I could easily hear within, like, literal 10 minutes of it being announced. Like, hell, most of the time, if you literally just sit at home, you can hear announcements about games coming out before the people at the video game convention even do. And the same with, like, anime and all that kind of shit. Like, anime stuff is more of, like, a place for, like, manga and anime writers to, like, sell their, like, manga, sell their anime, DVDs, sell art, all that kind of shit, right? And Comic Con is basically the same, but with comic books. And then, of course, video game stuff, it's basically companies just being like, here, try a demo of this upcoming game. But then everyone crowds around it, so you wouldn't even get a turn with it. Like, I don't know, conventions just feel kind of like walking around. It feels like a museum, right? It's like a museum, but there's a lot of really bad smelling people and probably a lot of creepy people that can't keep their hands to themselves. And I'm not interested in that in the slightest. I do not like being touched. I despise when people touch me. I do not like to be touched. So I don't want to go somewhere and have some guy bump into me or grab me or some weird shit. I don't want it. And on top of that, I don't want to go someplace that's just going to smell like 1,000 different people's BO all at once. And and maybe those are just like internet horror stories. Maybe it's not that bad, right? But it probably is. But at the same time, like I said, it's just a museum. It's basically like, oh, you can go there to see a giant statue of Master Chief, or you can see a standee of a new hero from this new game, or you get to sit in a crowded place and stare at like a blaring theater screen that just screams out the name of a game, blowing your ears out. And it's not very interesting. Like I said, I've never been to one, but I've seen like vlog videos. I've seen a lot of different like videos of people like showing off these conventions, and I've heard a lot of horror stories. I've heard good things, obviously too, but I feel like conventions just wouldn't be for me. Not only because of the social anxiety thing, but just touchy people, weird people, bad smells, and the fact that it's literally just walking to look at things. Like, yeah, you can buy things, but at the end of the day, what am I gonna fucking buy? Because if I go to an anime convention, I know people go there for like artwork, manga, but I don't read manga. I like reading, but I don't read manga. I don't really do it. And I don't want to buy a picture. Like, to me, just buying a picture is fucking weird. And on top of that, I don't want to buy a fucking body pillow because, like, yeah, I may be a fucking lonely loser, but at the end of the day, I don't want to buy things that people could easily see if they walk into my room and then judge me for it. Right? It's one thing if people can see my video games or see a shirt on the ground or something like that. But if I have like a fucking body pillow of some anime girl barely wearing any clothes, like people aren't really like if I were to make a new friend, they're definitely not talking to me if they see that. And there's nowhere you can really hide that. You try to stuff that in your closet, they're still gonna find it. But like with video game conventions, you don't buy video games. You buy like video game memorabilia. Like oh I bought Master Chief's helmet. I'm saying Master Chief again because I don't know. Like I feel like Halo related things is probably very common there compared to other things because I feel like Nintendo probably doesn't show up a lot at like video game stuff. It's mostly just like stuff that's like catered to like Sony or like the PlayStation and anything like Halo. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been there. I've just seen that. I've seen videos, and usually when I see videos, it's like giant things of Master Chief, and then that's about all I ever see. But other than that, it's like demos of like a game. Like, hey, come check out our new hit game, Scrunko's Bungus, and that's the whole game. And you're just like, wow, I don't care. But these conventions are just museums. Like, if you're not interested in buying any of these things, these conventions are just bad smelling museums with really creepy people. Because you're always going to see that one weird person that sees like all the cosplayers who runs up to them and tries like grabbing them and like pulling them as close to their BO encased body as close as they can. Be like, take a picture, it's Hatsune Miku. Like, like I don't know. Like I feel like especially at, like the anime conventions, you're gonna run into a lot of creepy people. When it comes to video games, you're gonna run into a lot of like just really angry people. Probably like people waiting for the next Call of Duty so they can just get really fucking mad. And when they see someone else at the convention, they just flip their shit because they're like, "Why are you here? Fuck you! I'm the king of video games," or something. I don't know. A lot of video game people are just fucking angry about everything. And then as for the comic shit, I don't know. I'd go there just to see if there's any new comic things. But from what I've seen, comics are kind of dying because Marvel and DC's kind of shit in the bed with comics, it seems. And not to mention, most video games that are coming out just aren't fucking interesting. Like, I don't care about any game. Like, Callisto Protocol, like, I gave it a chance and it was just like nothing. I know Forspoken or whatever came out, and it's like, I don't give a shit. It didn't look interesting to me, and I don't know. It wasn't a game that interested me, so I didn't care. So I don't want to go to a convention just to like see a game that's like now coming this fall, uh, fucking popular franchise number 6, and it's like, oh boy, I do not give a shit about the next Call of Duty. And like I said, with anime ones, it's just like anime fans are like on another level of creepy sometimes. And I'm a weird guy. Okay, like I'm not exactly a normal person, but like I swear I've heard nothing but I don't think I've ever heard a nice thing about anime conventions because not only are the conventions usually like for whoever's running it usually fucks something up, but the people there smell bad and are bad. It's kind of like on par with like Smash tournaments, right? You hear so many horror stories about Smash tournaments. That's kind of what like anime convention stories are. And maybe they're all wrong, but I'm never gonna know, and I don't wanna, because I don't want to be around weird people. I don't want to smell bad shit 24/7, and just don't like public places with a lot of people. So I'll probably never go to conventions, but I always think about conventions and it feels like I never hear anything good. And when I do hear something good, it's very small. It's just like a minor thing like, oh, the bathrooms were surprisingly clean this time. And then that's about it, but they're probably never clean. And that's another thing. I can never go to the bathroom in public. I can't do that. Random thing. But I don't know. Conventions are weird. I definitely would never go to a convention. Like no matter what. Like I don't think anyone could actually drag me to one. But yeah, I don't know. Just a random thing that I've been thinking about. So conventions are weird. Yippee. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever.